I'll have space.
There we go.
Um,
So this is the PM UX or PM, UX designer chat for Verify testing for February 9th, 2021. Let's see. So jumping into the agenda, I moved the follow-up items to the top just to make sure that we touched on those.
Yeah.
And I think I saw some to-dos this morning that where you had pinged me, and I think that that's probably one of these, maybe. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So looks like this is an MR for defining UI polish. Great.
Yeah,
Love
we
it.
talked about it last week, and I also had a chat with Darren on what does UI polish entails for Runner. And I apparently opened a much more difficult discussion in UX departments. So I just added this merge request here so that we can have a definition, clear definition in the handbook, because now we only talk about the label, but there's nothing really in context with the system usability score. And there's some confusion, just like depth versus polish versus enhancement. So if you have any questions, I'll say go there.
Yeah, I'll take a look. Just where my mind goes to when I hear UI polish is that the existing interface and experience is clunky and it could use some improvement. I think we talked about this last week, where it's like the button color is wrong, or it's not centered very nicely, weird line wraps, stuff like that. Versus, hey, this experience is bad and we need to add data, remove data, change workflow. That's a UX user experience enhancement for me. So
yeah, that's also what's in my head, and that's what's in my proposal. And let's see what we get from that. I just for context, I looked in Adam. He's the research lead. So I think they're working on also some definitions on the research department. Hopefully they will be able, him and his team going to be able to give some clarification.
The other follow-up from last week was tagging you on that issue about the visual review tools visibility. I did that in the issue, I believe.
I think it's this one. No.
Pretty sure I did that.
No.
Let's see if I can find that issue now. I'll try to find that issue again, just to be sure. But that's just a heads up for you. Right now, it's just a problem or an opportunity research project. So I don't need any assistance there at this point.
Okay.
Cool, so jumping into new stuff. What are you working on this week? I have not looked at your priorities yet.
All the things I couldn't finish last week. Oh, it's not linking to the right page.
That sounds familiar.
So let me link. Actually, when you go to the project, click on 2021 test. I have to update.
I got there.
Yeah. So I put in bold, like look into enterprise runner management. So that's a big heads up for my week. I had a conversation with Darren last week, end of last week. And he asked me to make some room to look into his proposal for jobs to be done on Runner and how I can help there so that he can move forward with some quick sessions for the team. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. What day is tomorrow? My goodness. Yeah, I'm doing that tomorrow and on Thursday. So just so you know, other than the items that we are probably gonna discuss this, I'm not gonna have a lot of room to work on new items for testing. And then I have a bunch of design manager tasks because we are doing the engagement surveys and career development conversations. Are you working on your focus? Is that right?
Yeah, my daughter is awake. I saw a light turn on that way. And I was like, who's in there? It's just my daughter.
I'm still working on the camera.
Yeah.
Focus.
No, right. I'm not blurry yet today. I will be later, I'm sure. I have a lot of meetings. Cool. Yeah, I don't think we need, I mean, the things that are above the line for you on 13.9, if those get wrapped up, then we'll have plenty of front end work. I was digging through our roadmap yesterday trying to find some impactful things for front-end
Mm.
engineers to work on. They are cranking right now. Scott already pulled what was going to be the marquee 1310 item into 13.9, and it's in review. So I need to pretty quickly find some more work for front end.
Okay.
So I proposed two things. That designs are wrapped and they're ready to go. And there's a whole other epic behind that. My only hesitation with that is it's core, not premium or ultimate features. But I think that it would still be a great enhancement, and it's basically front end ready, I think. So those are the things that I'm going to let them loose on, and then I'll try to prioritize making sure that we get some design work your way that we know will be ready to go for front end folks, so they're not just twiddling their thumbs, which there's plenty out there for them to work on. I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, for sure. And then when it comes to, for example, UI polish items and that list, I should have added that list here that I sent you in Slack end of last week. I think it would be good if I could.
Oh yeah, you tagged a bunch of things UI polish, right?
Yeah, so testing, I think it was last Tuesday, so it's gonna be all the way up. Oh, found it. So I found 6 issues. Those 6 here. So let me add to the agenda UI polish. If that's the case, oops, my goodness. Here, that's the agenda.
So these are all UI polish and group testing.
Yeah, but they are all related to these enhancements. Not all of them, mostly related to the enhancements on the merge request widget. So I was thinking about it today while I was updating the prototypes for the one issue that I have in my epic, that maybe I should just work on everything in one single Figma file, saying like, here's what it should look like, and then you can break it down and just assign to front end.
Yeah, that works for me. If you want to do it in one file, just get everything in there, and then we can just pluck the parts out and drop them into the design tab. That sounds great.
And another point on that UI polish related to the merge request widget is that there is so much content already that the secure team has produced. There's a Figma file with like all the states and how the view should look like. So I'm gonna actually add an action item here for myself to touch base with them, with the team, if their proposals are ready to be implemented, because I don't want to be redesigning what they have worked on already in the past. But up until here, those 5 items, they can all be in one design proposal.
Okay.
And then front-end can be happy with some extra things to do for the time being. We are being asked to, each product designer is being asked to prioritize, and with the PMs to help implement 3 of these changes, 3 UI polish changes the whole quarter. So if we can tackle, at least that one merge request widget area, it's a big win in terms of OKR. But
yeah, and I think we have a couple of these already scheduled. Oh, the last 2 in that list are the same. Oh no, not the last 2.
Oh, these 2 here.
4 and 5 are the same. Yeah. Okay.
Those 5 items plus the one that I have here. Result test summary widget research insights.
Yeah. We have closed the last one on that list already. The docs feedback on accessibility.
Oh yeah, 5 days ago.
It's not the right keyboard command. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look through those others and make sure that we have them scheduled. Let me add it to do here.
And then on this usability polish topic, so I updated the design proposal. I pinged you on the issue for the resolving that summary widget research insights. So I applied all Pedro's feedback, and but there's a couple of questions, right? He made a proposal. You actually followed up with a cleanup for the testing widgets, but also I noticed while I was looking at some merge requests, I noticed that he probably has that in his backlog. Let me show you actually. Um, so I'm share my screen quickly. And this is one of the things um, I don't want to. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Zoom doesn't let me share my screen apparently. No. Wait. Anyways, I cannot share. I updated my OS, so now everything is asking for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
permissions.
all gone, right?
So annoying. Anyway, so if you on this merge class, for example, if you expand the metric reports, security scanning, and then the test summary areas, yeah, on the widgets, on the other the overview, and then scroll down there, and then expand up right after on the where you merge the button, yeah, and then you have the expand buttons there, expand metrics.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking for a design in there, not looking at the
No.
actual MR.
I actually just
Sorry.
yeah. So you see that, oh, you don't have as many examples in this one, but anyways, you see the new label that you have there? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. For us, we position it in the beginning, and then for security scanning, it's at the end. But they don't use, for example, they use just a different formatting on this whole content section. And I honestly don't want to go in that direction where to make a whole update and a proposal for testing and then having to rediscuss with the whole design team and with Pedro on where things should be placed. So my point here is that for our cleanup, and that's what you're going to see in the Figma file if you open it, on the link in the agenda, is that I just want to make sure that we talk about the hierarchy of the items, the positioning, and the UI polish. If you're going to move things here or there, I think it should be done at the secondary phase, so we're not blocked by this small nitty gritty, discussions related to the UI.
So
that's
just to make sure I heard correctly, we want to have in this metrics report, and probably the same in the code quality because it has a severity component as well, the organization or the sorting of the issues found or the new metrics found sort the same way in the security widgets and in our widgets, and we'll take what security has done as far as how they sort and the presentation of it and match up.
Yeah, and then
okay,
we do that in the next phase on the issue that you created, I think a week ago.
Yeah.
And I sent you here in the chat a link to the Figma file that I worked on today. Let's see if it opens the right view. Yeah. So this is what I'm proposing for us. So it's really look and feel, not functionality and any change in the code base, as in the logic of the component.
Yeah, I like it. If we can get those consistent, that'll make it a lot easier to read that, and you won't have to context switch when you're looking at different widgets.
And then you see here on this screenshot that the new label is in front, but then when you were on the actual merge request in production in a different area, the content, like they just position it in different places. It's pretty annoying. Yeah. But I'll let Pedro, Pedro take over.
If you have one of these specific to the metrics report, that's actually one of the issues that I just pointed Scott at yesterday. Of there's an open issue to reorganize and make that widget easier to read, especially when you have thousands of metrics. And so what I'd proposed was sorting, or we'll sort this way, of the new things, the changed things, and then the same things, organized that way with these little mini headers in there, and then the label at the front.
Yeah, that's gonna look cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Oh yes, and then my follow-up question is, what happens after there is a design proposal and we say, cool, it's groomed, it's ready for development? Do we close do you close the UX issue, or do you just link somewhere else?
Yeah, go ahead. The workflow that we were using previously, or the workflow I'd like to use, I guess, is close that UX issue, reference the implementation issue, and then we'll drag the design into the implementation issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And just for this one in particular, do we already have an implementation issue?
There should be, for the design, I think there's actually two. Yeah, in the problem to solve of that, the two open issues are there, and the same design can go into both, and I'm happy to move that over.
The ones that are blocked currently.
Yeah, they're blocked by this one. And I just did that so that as front end was looking at this, they didn't try to pick it up and start doing something with it, that they saw, oh, I can't do this until the design is done.
I see. Okay. Sounds good. It'll be nice to just vocalize across the PMs. Who's the PM for Secure? I know that Justine's the product design manager, but just let them know that we're gonna make some updates that are gonna affect, well, all PMs actually, that are gonna affect all widget areas.
Yeah. There's a few PMs in Secure. So this will probably impact, let's see, for static analysis, it is Taylor. For dynamic analysis, it's Derek. Composition analysis is Nicole. I don't know that there's an MR widget for the fuzz testing stuff. I know that the other things, the dependency scanning, the license compliance for sure, DAST and SAST, all have MR widgets that we would impact. And I don't think the other two do the vulnerability research nor threat insights.
I want to cross-post this in the merge request widget Slack channel.
I can drop a read-only item into the next product agenda as well. We're making a change to some MR widgets and how they present to standardize with what Secure has. Cool. All right.
Those are
so are you going to close that UX issue and move the design, or do you want me to just to, okay.
Yeah, awesome. I'll close it. I'll wait for Pedro's feedback, hopefully by today or tomorrow. And if there's nothing, we can just forward.
Awesome. So I have my weekly priorities there. It's mostly research issues, trying to get some surveys fielded and digging into some data from one of the post-purchase surveys. I had pinged you on an issue about language, around coverage, to make sure we know what that means. I think you replied already.
To this one, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, I was just waiting for a thumbs up from you on that comment.
Oh, this one is about the naming. Okay.
Yeah. And once we have that, we'll make this change.
Like in which comment? In the proposal. Okay, cool. Okay. That's it for this. And then Marcel already reviewed it. Looks good to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. This one looks pretty tiny, so I might have Scott pull this forward and just get it knocked out, depending on how much the tooltip will impact things.
He loves
awesome, thank you.
This product.
Yeah, anytime I add, tooltips aren't as bad as modals. Anytime I talk about adding a modal window, I'm like, oh, do we have to? I don't want to. They're so bad.
They're hiding stuff that we don't know where to place in the project. So,
exactly.
But I understand it's better to inform with a tooltip than not inform at all, especially when we know that people are having issues.
Cool.
Finding information.
And then my last thing was about this week's Ops Think Big, which I don't see on the calendar anymore. So that's, I think, a null for us. I don't think we have a think big this week now.
The ops think big. We should have one.
I don't know where it went.
Where did it go? I thought that Ian. That's true. I'll check with Ian because I know that he shared something in Slack for the UX, the CI/CD UX team asking. Here, I'll just link the agenda item to you. There.
Maybe I just removed it from my calendar on accident.
But I also don't see it. And next one, the 11th. It's supposed to be on the 11th. I don't have it.
And that's Thursday.
Oh yeah, no,
I think,
see. Yeah, cross stage, think big. 25 guests. James, yeah, you have one.
All right. I'm pretty sure I can't make it anyway. It conflicts with everything else I have that morning, so I won't make it. What was actually my topic here? Okay.
Yeah.
So we just won't. We just won't have a topic for it this week.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Most contexts I have
are,
of course, related to release management. But for both testing and runner, I'm like, so I'll say I cannot join anyways. On Thursdays I have a doctor's appointment. But it's a good platform for me to learn what's going on in the other stage groups. But if you don't have any items to add there, I also don't have anything, unfortunately.
Okay. No worries. I think it was going to be
group level.
Yeah, it was just it looks like the topic is about group level features, and just thinking about what we have at the group level. Right now, it's just that group test coverage feature, but we'll start creating more like test history, test execution falls into that as well. Code quality at some point will roll up to a group level feature. So just thinking about those and knowing that there's already discoverability problems with the few features we have. Is there a better way for us to organize quality features or testing features at the group level so they're not as hidden?
Do you have a place where I can find that information a little bit more filtered, like if it's in one of the direction pages for testing, or if you have like an epic that talks about improving the organization or the hierarchy of testing at the group level?
I don't have anything yet. There might be an issue floating out there to organize our reports into a testing tab. The direction page that Juan worked up, that direction vision design, that's at the in the code quality and the code testing and coverage direction pages alludes at that, but we don't have anything carved out, any issues created, I believe. I can create an issue though, so that we have something to track here.
Yeah, so that
I'll take that as a to-do.
Oh,
cool. And then on that think big topic, the last thing I wanted to, or that I thought would be a good one, it's an item that we've been talking about for deprecation, but we won't get in for 14.0, is there's two ways to set test coverage today, either in the settings or in the GitLab CI YAML. And how do we think about that as a stage or even as a section of when things conflict, and when you create something in one place, how do you reflect it in the other? Yeah, that just seems like a big meaty topic for us to dig into as a section. So it's something that we can propose. I don't know that there's a problem. It's just maybe we decide that we want to go out and find the problems that exist, and then we can have a cross-stage effort around a standard approach to it.
Yeah, and it's a very relevant topic, actually. I had a conversation
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
this week or last week with some designers, especially Nadia on pipeline authoring, because yeah, configuration and CI file, well, not that mostly falls on pipeline authoring, but there's an overlap also with configure. So I talked to also configure in relation to the the Kubernetes, not just the cluster, but the thing. Anyways, that affects runner. It's too many topics in my head. Client in relation to the runner, the GitLab runner. So this is the CI file. It's one of the items in the design scope that, like, just like settings, we all own, and therefore nobody owns anything. So it's one of the challenges, and hopefully, um, when I offboard as a design manager, I want to have a time to look into the high level overlapping items, or, all on functionalities. So CI file and settings are a great starting point for our discussion. So if we can create a topic around that to just gather some information would be awesome.
I'll add that to the agenda as a future topic. All right.
Thank you.
Cool.
No problem.
Well, have a great day.
You too, Jim.
And if
Thank
you're on
you.
the PI review, I'll see you there.
Awesome. Bye.
All right. Cheers.